Well, hello there, my friends. January 24th, 2019, 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we look at our current wind chill temperatures. And it's just a repeat of what we've been saying, guys. Look at these temperatures, especially in Minnesota. Negative 29, you get down into the Dakotas, negative 24, negative 21. These are wind chills, yes. Here are actual temperatures still in the negatives. This is without your wind chill. This is that Arctic blast we've been talking about that's been infecting places in the country that do not usually see stuff of this nature. And the Type X files, Caroline sent me a really cool story to just show exactly what this is affecting and causing in the U.S. And one of these is the alligator population in North Carolina. So this article here goes on to explain something that reptiles do, basically not by choice. It's almost their bodies choose to do this when temperatures get low enough, especially alligators, because of the fact how they have to breathe with their noses. But check this out. In North Carolina, especially this specific swamp, the water froze and the alligators prepared for it. They actually stuck their noses out of the water and waited for the water to freeze, knowing that it was coming. So something internally, those of you that know stuff about reptiles and, have researched into them may know that this is maybe not so much of a uncommon thing, but this is a first for me. These alligators have actually set themselves up so they can breathe while they're frozen underwater. So it's a type of hibernation, but it's not one that they choose to do as opposed to how bears do for the winter, things of that nature. When they sense that the water's going to get cold enough to where they're going to be frozen solid, which has happened once before, they actually position themselves in an area where they're comfortable and their noses are exposed so they can then sit there and basically survive through these frigid temperatures. And this is in North Carolina, guys, so this just adds to what I've been talking about with this Arctic blast of air we have. Now, this is today, January 24th. This update was at 16:38 UTC. And you can see this Arctic blast is centralizing itself basically over Minnesota and North Dakota and swinging down to the east. So now you're starting to see states like North Dakota, South Dakota, parts of Nebraska, and then we're going to start seeing Illinois and then Missouri, and then as we move to the east, we're going to start seeing the Great Lakes freeze over, and then any sort of moisture, which is coming, by the way. We have 3 potential snowstorms, possibly 2 of them named as far as the size that I've seen, on their way between now and February 7th. So as long as this air is in place, the Northeast and even central part of the country, including West Virginia, North Carolina, obviously, we just spoke about the alligators being frozen solid in swamps. Just unbelievable temperatures we are witnessing here, and it may have to do with this pole shift going on, guys. This is a mainstream story now. They are actually admitting that the pole is slowly shifting. Magnetic north is shifting, which in turn will absolutely affect our weather. How so is the question. So that's why we do this stuff, guys. We look for changes. We look for things that are common, that are uncommon, and then we make hypotheses off that. But you can see here clearly, guys, it is very cold. It's going to stay cold. A little bit of relief down in the south here in Florida. Again, thank you to Mike's weather page, spaghettimodels.com, for providing a lot of these tools that I use to then share info with you. A little bit warmer down in the California areas, but the Sierra Nevadas, they're always cold, lots of snow. Another thing we want to talk about, guys, Maine. A lot of times when we deal with winter storms, we kind of don't talk about Maine because we always just assume Maine's going to get slammed with snow, which it did, which it does, which it will be again. But check this out. All right, so this article, let's line this up first. Okay, there we go. So, all right, there is a place in Maine called Caribou, and it's in one of the most northern areas of Caribou, sticking straight up into Canadian land. It's just the borders that bring it up that high. Obviously, we don't need to get into geography right now, but very known for getting heavy amounts of snow. All the white you see here is 3+ feet at this moment, probably higher. Now, check this out. One of the most snowiest areas on the planet, basically, Caribou, Maine, one of America's, not global, America's snowiest places, is nearing its all time snowiest month. So it could be receiving the most snow it's ever seen in a month's time, and that's due to these storms we've been seeing and the amount of moisture that's in them, mixed with the El Nino cold and this Arctic blast of air that has just been completely freezing solid. Anything basically north of the Great Lakes and even in some parts south, as we spoke about the alligators in California. So let's take a look at tropical tidbits. Let's see what's coming up. This is the storm that just passed. This was our big one that came and went pretty quickly, I would say. We still have the back end of it affecting parts of New York and northeast Pennsylvania. We had flurries tonight. We still have some flurry/rain going on right now. It was very icy yesterday, and now things are beginning to melt, but that's not going to last long, and it's actually going to cause situations to be worse because as the snow's melting, we have this second dip of Arctic air coming down that's just going to freeze solid everything. So it's going to be even more dangerous than a snowstorm, in my opinion, at least living in the Northeast, in my experience. So I can only imagine what people in Virginia and West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, if they reach these temperatures and have to deal with this ice, are going to have to go through. It's not going to be pretty. But again, between now and February 7th, check this out. So as this storm leaves, a little bit of a break. We could get some dustings here and there across the top of the U.S. based on this cold Arctic blast. Lake effect snow deals, typical little swalls there. But then we start seeing the bigger storms form. We got a big system in the Gulf forming that may bring some interesting situations to Florida as far as tornadoes, high wind rates, high storm rates. It looks like it's clipping the southern area more towards the Keys. And the southern tip of Florida as of now. That could change, but check out this low pressure system coming down out of Canada, following right along with the jet stream dip, which is not good. And then we move into Monday, January 28th. Basically, all right, right here. Let's put it right here. Monday, January 18th. We have the potential for another named winter storm at this point. This covers enough area. If this does stay true as is right now, it's covering enough area as well as population for sure, considering Minnesota and Iowa are involved in this, North Dakota, South Dakota. So, yes, this could very well be a named storm. I don't believe they've named it yet, but just watch its track and also keep in mind with the jet stream dip down in this low, all this moisture is going to be snow except for that green you see. That's as of now. That's going to change, though. So this one's crossing right over the Great Lakes, guys. So those of you in the lake effect snow areas, be prepared for this one. This would be January 28th, Monday, going into Tuesday. So your Tuesday commute, even Monday commute, may be a complete mess for you guys. You see it move up into the northeast and then spread out. Some of the rain kicks out to the, I would say, eastern, south, northeastern states. It's really hard to put a name on these grouping of states here when this is the Northeast altogether. But you could see how Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, and Pennsylvania, at least parts of it, are in the snow territory. And then you get that typical cutoff line right along the edge of New York through New Jersey and down through Chesapeake Bay. But as we move forward, you could see that little blue shows up there. So the back end of this storm is going to be what brings the snow to these areas along the coast. The first part of the storm is what's going to bring the snow to areas of PA, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, possibly Massachusetts, Long Island. Again, it's hard to forecast in detail exactly where those states are going to get hit because of their size, because they're so close to other little states. It's just very hard to do, but we can do our best, and that's what we're going to do. But just check this out, guys. The high pressure right here, these blue lines represent that jet stream dip. It's going to be super, super cold all the way through February. So that was one of the storms. Here comes number two. This could be a second storm right over the Great Lakes. Severe weather popping up in the Gulf that could actually flow up into this storm, using it as fuel. They are beginning to talk about the nor'easters, which is not good because if they're going to bring up a nor'easter topic when we haven't had one yet, it means basically prepare for one. And then finally by February 4th, or actually not finally, we might have a fourth storm. There's another one that clips over top here. February 3rd, this one comes down from Canada, low pressure system, 990 millibars. And this one seems to be coming right over the Great Lakes, kind of hugging the border here. So may not be too much of an effect on the U.S. We don't know yet. We are going into the future a little bit here. But I just want to give you guys an idea of what to expect soon. And then finally, come the 7th, we have this. Now, this is a very blunt type of graphic here. As time goes on, this will be more detailed. You're going to see more lines around this low pressure system. But this, to me, looks like a nor'easter type shape. You get your low pressure off the northeast. Counterclockwise spin brings that moisture into the northeast, and then the moisture source is being pulled from the Caribbean and or the Gulf, being pulled over Florida or through the Bahamas and up to the northeast. So once again, between now and the 7th, we have to keep our eye out for these 3 possible storms, maybe even 4. Basically, long story short, is the snow is going to continue to come, especially with these ridiculous temperatures we have going on right now. And real quick, before I let you guys go, I'm going to have another video out in a little bit about some earthquake information and some more info on the eclipse blood moon, which YouTube has finally confirmed that I'm allowed to post the video, which is great. I was a little worried about that because there have been videos taken down of that for some reason. I'm not sure why, whether it was copyright material, but I film all my own stuff whenever I post my own videos and stuff in that nature. So anyway, that's another topic. But what I want you to look at here is, obviously, this is the moisture strip leaving the East Coast. Very cool looking. I love when we see these defined lines, very cool shapes. Just very intriguing weather visuals. I love seeing this stuff. I know a lot of you like to see it too. Whenever you see straight lines or like angles in weather, it looks very cool. But the point here is what I want you to look at is right here, guys. Watch how this dips down as time goes. This is over the last about 18 hours. You could see the dip is already in the U.S., already affecting moisture in the middle of the country. So we can only expect any moisture that touches this is going to be snow, ice, rain, mix, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be nasty, and it's staying there. It's not going anywhere. In fact, it's even extending itself further south, which is why I believe those articles about North Carolina and the swamps freezing over were put as a headline on the weather.com channel. So basically, that's where we're at right now, guys. We got moisture moving west to east across the country like we usually do, except we have this Arctic blast just sitting right in the middle, kind of just turning it all into just ice, frozen ice, snow, and horrible travel situations. So all we can do is hope for the best at this point. I'm going to be back with another detailed video about the actual temperatures and what they're affecting and how long this is going to stay here, but there's just so much to talk about, guys. It's hard to fit into one video, and I like to keep these videos as short as possible, even though I say that and then end up being 20-minute videos anyway. I just like to focus on one topic at a time so we can then research it and get feedback and stuff. So once again, guys, before I let you go, please click the notification bell on our channel, as we are getting messages from people and emails saying that they are not getting our notifications for posted videos. The best way to do that is the bell. And then if you would like to, just check the channel on a daily basis. We have Instagram, we have Twitter. You could search at Into Thin Air on Twitter or at Into Thin Air on Instagram. And then we have at Type X Files and hashtag Type X Files for any of you that want to post pictures on Twitter or Instagram that want to be featured on the channel. Please do so. You can also hashtag into the number 2 into family. All right, guys. Sorry about the jumping around there, but that's how it works. All right, guys. I'll be back soon. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.